Okay, my name is Chris Bosley. I live at 126 Croydon Avenue, New South Wales. I say that because it's a building owned by Anglican Church, and for the last several years, they've been harassing us in almost every way they possibly can. And one of their methods is computer hacking and computer crime. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get to it. I'll make an intro, and I'll just one of these days I'll make an intro, and then I can just you can just go there and you know, I'll tell you a little bit more about this place. But right now I just want to show what I think is another attack that they've committed. Now the attack is um, uh, based on the battery. And I've noticed this attack. They've done this exact same thing on an, a Nokia E71, on a BlackBerry, on a Nokia 1520, and also on this Android that my wife just bought just recently. And within 24 hours, they had owned the machine, and ever since then, they've just been manipulating it and modifying it, and they do it at will. And this is one of the modifications they do is with the battery. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug it in, and you'll see. One sec. Okay, I'm going to plug it in right now. Not charging, and then it unplugs. So I'll show you that again. Just look at the point at the top there by 70%. So I'm going to plug it in. Charging, not charging. So you see, and we do this on every single machine. So we'll look at the history, and if you look down here at the charging, I have had this plugged in constantly since I started. There should be a full green line on the bottom, but you see how it's broken up? I started trying to upload videos this afternoon to YouTube about the Anglicans, Presbyterians, and Baptists here, the Bible college students and their friends, because there are people here that are not that claim not to be Anglicans, but are have an agreement with them, and they help them out. And the cellular network, so you can see where sometimes it's good, sometimes it's green. I've basically been hooked up all night, all day. It should be green the full way, and I'm going through um, a virtual network. So these people should not be connecting to it. Awake is green, screen on is green, and charging should be full green. But you see them breaks that where it's white. That means that they've stopped. So I'll show you again. They've stopped the phone from charging. So either they have directly modified the firmware of the phone, which is really serious, and that means they have absolute root administration over the phone. And remember, I've never had this phone on wireless, and I've never had this phone on Bluetooth. They shouldn't be able to do this, and they shouldn't be but like I said, the Anglicans have access to the government of Australia, and I think that the government of Australia uses the Anglican members as a pool to train, so that they can train them up, and because they're brainwashed. They do what they're told. They're part of the group, and they want to do what Jesus wants, right? And the Australian government is heavily influenced by the Anglican Church. Premier Mike Baird, Anglican, property manager or Ministry of Planning, Anglican, previous Prime Minister, what's his name? Not Howe. I can't remember his name. Short, fat little guy. Can't remember it. Howard. Prime Minister Howard. He was an Anglican, I think. So they have big influence, and I think what they want to do is just basically control the whole country, control all finances, destroy anybody that gets in their way. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. Okay, I'm going to try plugging in again. Okay, so I'm going to plug it in now. Plugged in. It's going to help if I take it off history details. It's not going to show with that. Okay, I'm going to plug it in now. Plugged in. Yeah, see? They won't let me charge. Standby intelligent, I'll turn that on. You might wonder if that's going to make a difference. I'll plug it in. Plugged in. Not charging. seeing you, and right now I'm talking about this computer attack, and there's a female, one of the wives, walking by with their little baby, and it's probable that their nice, precious little daddy is involved in these computer hacks and these computer attacks, and they do not care because they are entirely brainwashed. They do not think for themselves. I've talked to every single one of them, and every single one of them um, tried to tell what's going on here, and they just say, "Oh, we don't think so. We don't think so. Show us your evidence. Charging on, no charging." And remember, this just started happening recently, today. But it was happening all the time on my E71. It was happening all the time on my BlackBerry. It was happening all the time on my Nokia 1520, and now it's happening here. In different variations, but basically the same thing. For example, on the Nokia 1520, the power would drop sometimes 20%. Sometimes I would turn it on 100%, and within 5 minutes it was dropped down to 88 or 90. And so there you go. So by controlling the power, by controlling the power, they control a lot of what happens in the phone. And also they control events. So they'll force me to go to a point where I have to plug in or keep it plugged in, and then that event triggered by that being plugged in will always be triggered, because plugging the phone in triggers events. Another thing that may be possible is they committed another attack on the phone that they modified. See, these people are complete dickheads. They have no regard for other people's property, and they'll monitor a machine regardless of what the effects are. They do not care what is going to happen to the machine. They will modify it, and they don't care if they break anything. As a matter of fact, if they break something good, you just hear laughter and jokes and high fives. And this has been for 3 years since I've lived here in 2013. It's always the same. So they don't care if they break anything, and they're completely immoral. They have no ethics, and they have no boundaries. They'll go as far as they possibly can. They've broken so much of our equipment and caused us so much financial loss that it's pretty horrible. And the thing is they are likely doing this very same behavior to other people in other parts of Sydney, other parts of the world, in the United States, and it's likely that they're going to, and they're not going to stop because it's too much money. They've got absolute control over every device. They're not going to stop. I'll try it one more time. That's a history. It won't work. I'm back to battery. Okay, charge it one more time. No, see? So they may have broke something in the phone, or I don't think so. I think it's intentional, because I've seen this behavior before. They don't like something, or so they do this, or they force control over the battery behavior and the charging behaviors, so that because it benefits them in some way, or they have broken the battery charge because they want to decrease battery life and cause me expense. I don't know. There's a whole lot of things. I think they're just dickheads, and it's just part of their profile. And it allows them control somehow. I don't know exactly how, but it must allow them a certain position of advantage, and so that's why they've done it. The Anglicans, Presbyterians, and Baptists. My neighbor next door is a Baptist, and there's other people that live here too. There's like an Asian who just moved in. He's up all night, his lights all night, and it's almost like he's an up-night hacker. Like he's doing the night shift so that the precious little baby Anglican students can get their night rest, their beauty sleep, so they can go to Bible college tomorrow and be nice and fresh. So they can give high fives and slappy slaps and bunshaft sessions. Ooh, lots of fun. So they're a crew. They stick together. They're completely xenophobic. They're completely us-them attitude. And this group that I'm talking about of hackers, I think they're like NSA wannabes. They're like wannabe like 007 James Bond. We're gonna save the world from Muslims and make the entire universe Christian. And if you don't like it, we're gonna kill you. Or we're gonna break your trying. And it's just like constant. Every single day they're doing so many attacks. I can't even document them all. Cookie cutter attacks must be like a huge Rolodex of attacks. The Anglicans, Baptists, and Presbyterians. Huh. Okay. Have a good day.